Hello everybody. Today this is a new video format. Are you excited? Hopefully, because I wanted to talk a little bit less about me and more about gymnastics. A little bit who can still make the Olympics through the World Cup series and just how the entire World Cup series works in regards to the Olympic qualifiers, because oh boy, did the FIG make this complicated. So let's start with that. There are 4 ways how you can qualify for the Olympic Games. 1, through the World Championships. So basically top 12 from the World Championships in Stuttgart. They get to go as a team, so they can send 4 people. And if you didn't make it as a team, like we did, pretty much you're best all-rounder as long as he's in the top 24. Disregarding all of the gymnasts who have already qualified with a team, basically your best all-rounder. And then also top 3 on each apparatus, also disregarding all of the people who have already qualified. So there are a bunch of people already qualified for the Olympics, but for those who aren't, there are 3 more scenarios left. We have the World Cup series, we have the World Cup All-Round series, and then we have Continentals. But keep in mind, for the World Cup All-Round series and the Continental Championships, the spot that you get is on your country. But the Apparatus World Cups, they're on the person itself who qualifies. So, for example, let's say Epke qualifies on high bar, then only Epke gets to go. So for example, if Epke gets injured a month before the Olympics, then nobody gets to go from the Netherlands. So preferably, you would get 4 spots on the World Championships, then 1 spot on the All-Round World Cups, and 1 spot on the Continentals. That is like the best case scenario, and there are only a few countries who can get there. But anyways, that is not the point of this video, but I hope I cleared up a little bit of it. So let's just get into the video. Boy, first I need to explain the World Cup, how this works. So there are 8 World Cups. Cottbus, Melbourne, Baku, Doha. Times 2 because it was 2 years. So 8 World Cups. The best 3 results count. And everybody who did World Cups, but who is already qualified through the World Championships, they're out and they don't get any points. So for example, first place gets 30 points, second place 25, third place 20. If somebody who has already been qualified through the World Championships becomes first, then that guy will just like get removed from the point system, and the guy who became second, he gets 30 points. I've already done the calculations, so this should be the right standings. It took me so much effort, man. But okay, here we go. We are going to discuss the next 2 World Cups, Baku and Doha. And we're just gonna take a look at who can still make the Olympics, who is first, second and third, whatever, in the circuit, who has the most points, who has the most potential. I'm just gonna give you guys my predictions on who's gonna win it, who's gonna go to the Olympics, who's not gonna go to the Olympics, like me, but I can still fanboy over everybody else. Okay, let's get into it. Let's just get into the floor. On floor, the first place is being held by Zapata. He has 85 points. So he has 2 golds and 1 silver if we remove all of the people who have been qualified already. And he currently has an average of 14.578. This average is important because let's say somebody else also gets 85 points, then the highest average of your 3 best results, they count. And Zapata is currently in the lead, so he does seem like the most likely winner. But there are a few people who can still actually catch up to him and who are really good and really talented. First of them being Ryu from Korea. He's only 17 years old. He actually competed at the last year World Championships for juniors. And he is insane on floor, man. He can do a full punch triple. He does a beautiful 2.5 double, which he pretty much sticks every time in training. It's freaking insane. This guy is 17 and he hasn't qualified through the World Championships because he didn't do those. He won in Melbourne with a 14.933, so he has a really big score already. So if he can win 2 more times, then he just beats Zapata. And the second one who would probably challenge Zapata is Kazuki from Japan. He just pretty much came out of nowhere with beautiful execution and really solid landings, and he scored a 15.1 in Cottbus, which got him the gold medal. And he can do even crazier stuff. He just does a triple from a run-up. And I've seen him doing a triple into a 2.5 in training. So that's 1.3 in one pass. Let that just sink in for a minute, okay? 1.3. That's freaking bonkers. That's... Where are we going? Why is everybody so gold? Those guys, they have so much potential. If they can just hit their routine on the right moment, then they can definitely contest Zapata. It's gonna be really tough because there are only 2 World Cups left. You have to qualify in the prelims, and then you have to do pretty much the best routine ever in the finals. And the problem also being is that they are also challenging each other. So the best case scenario for either one of them, if they win 2, then they have 90 points and then they're in. If they get 1 second place and 1 first place, then we have a 3-way tie of 85, and then pretty much the highest average goes. But if Zapata just wins 1, he just has to win 1, then he just goes. Then it's all over and he just goes. Which is why I am still putting my money on Zapata. I know I've hyped these other guys up so much, but man, Zapata, he's just proven himself to be so solid. He's been killing it since 2014, 2015 or something. He's just been on a roll the last few years. He tore his Achilles actually in 2017, but ever since he's just been smashing it, man. So personally, I'm just gonna give it to Zapata. Then on Pommel Horse, we have a little bit of a weird situation going on, because in the first place it's Weng from China. The problem being the coronavirus, so the Chinese guys, they cannot compete at any of the upcoming World Cups. But he is currently in first place with 90 points, so he won 3. And he has an average of 15.166. In second place it's Kameyama from Japan, and he has currently an average of
15.155.
But he only has 80 points. He has a first place, another first place, and then a third place. What he wants to do is use Baku or Doha to remove that third place, get himself a first place, and then try to get that average up to like a 15.2 or at least higher than Weng's. Which is definitely possible. Now he has a 14.8 counting in his average, and if he can just move that up to like a 15, which he can easily do, well, easily, I mean, if he hits his routine clean, then he actually has a pretty big chance of scoring a 15, which would put him over Weng. On the same hand, we have 2 other competitors, Nedorscik, is that right? Nedorscik? Is that how you pronounce his name? From the USA. He won the Melbourne World Cup with a huge score of 15.4. So that just shows his potential already. So it's kind of like the same idea with floor. Being that you have a guy who has won 1 with a huge score, with huge potential, and he can theoretically still win 2 more, and then he has a pretty big chance of getting a higher average. But Pommel Horse is tricky. Just like floor, it's hard. And falls happen. So it's very unlikely, but it is possible. And he does this beautiful routine with 2 zones. He does like the outward zone and like the inward zone. I don't know how you call that, but that's just what we call it. And he's the funniest guy ever, man. And then another person who can still challenge is Keikha from Iran. Yes, like the element Keikha. Keikha 126 basically. All the flare spindle thingies he invented. He has currently... He has 1 win with a 15.133. But I still did want to mention the other placings because that just shows his consistency. And he is consistently making it in the final and consistently making it in the top 4. So he's definitely just a super solid athlete. If one of the other guys just drops the ball, Keikha can just run away with it. It's Pommel Horse. You don't know. But again, I do not see that happening. I just see Kameyama win 1 more with a 15, and then he has an average of like 15.2, and then he's in. Because the other guys need to win both. Because Weng is still like the gatekeeper. Somebody has to win to beat Weng. Which is very unfortunate that he doesn't have the chance to defend his spot. I mean, that's just pretty shitty. That is That's really unfortunate. But yeah, I'm just giving it to Kameyama. He has such a beautiful style. Everything that he does is so floaty and so light and it's so beautiful, man. I just cannot look at it normally. Whenever I see him, I just like seizure up, and it's too beautiful, man. It's so clean, it's so floaty. Definitely just one of my favorite pommel gymnasts ever. Moving on to rings now. We have Liu from China. Yes, same story again. Coronavirus screwing everything up. He has 3 wins with an average of 15.166, and he basically only has 1 challenger, which is no slouch either. He has Petrounias from Greece, Olympic champion, world champion, name a title, and this man has got it. He is trying to challenge Liu. So at Worlds he didn't manage to qualify for the Olympics. So I'm assuming then he just moved on to plan B, which was the World Cup series. Cottbus didn't go as planned because Liu actually won there. But Petrounias did win Melbourne with a score of 15.066, so that is 1/10 lower than Liu's average. So then he has Baku and Doha left to still make it. He needs to win 2, and he needs to win it really clean. He did make a little mistake in Melbourne with his dismount. And overall, rings is just a pretty consistent apparatus. You don't really see that many huge mistakes in top guys on rings. So I think he can potentially take it, but he cannot make a single mistake. Like, that's the tricky part. Liu has already done his thing. He has set the bar, and then now it's Petrounias' job to get over it. So you have this clash of those giants, but they're not actually meeting, and it's a weird scenario. And also, which is also very weird, is that there can only be 1 gymnast from each country who qualifies throughout the apparatus World Cups. So for example, if Weng gets the Pommel Horse spot, then Liu cannot get the ring spot anymore. So then Petrounias goes. FIG, next cycle, please get it together. Because they made it as complicated as it is now, then I can actually make a video on it. But next time, just make it a little bit more understanding, okay? Okay, thank you. Moving on to vault. Vault is wide open. There is no way that you can actually make sense of the whole situation of vault. First of all, because vault is already such an inconsistent piece of equipment, everybody just suicides onto that horse and just tries to do as many flippy and twisty boys and somehow manage to land on their feet without breaking their ankles, which is pretty insane already. So currently in first place it's Yonekura from Japan. He currently has 80 points. He has a win, a silver and another silver, so that's 80 points with an average of 14.626. So he is currently, with the state of how vault works, the most likely person to actually stay at the top, because in second place it's Vega Lopez. He currently holds 75 points. He has a third place, a win and a silver, but on his win he only scored a 14.149, and the best 3 results count, so that one is always gonna count towards his average. So let's say he also gets up to 80 points, then that 14.1 is still gonna affect his average, and then Yonekura will just slam him on the average department. Another competitor is Shin from Korea. He also does an insane Tsukahara with a 3.5 twist. That's actually named after Yonekura, but Shin just actually does it better. And he currently holds 55 points. He also got 16 points from the Cottbus competition, but I'm not gonna count that since that's never gonna be enough to get him to 80 points. So in my book he currently holds 55 points, 1 win and 1 second place, with an average of 14.716. So that is already a 10th higher than Yonekura. So if he can just get himself 1 more silver, or actually a gold, then he is pretty much gonna be certain of the vault spot. We have one more wildcard gymnast. He is a wild boy. It's Nen Reyes from the Dominican Republic. He holds 1 win currently, so 30 points. And he won there with a score of 14.753. So that's a pretty high score already. And he is insane. In Worlds, he did the craziest handspring double pike front ever. Like I was in the seedings, and I literally screamed. Like, I was so excited because it was so high and so fast, and he could have easily done like 7 twists out of it. But he didn't. And then he just went over so much. But so he has that fault. Super clean as well. And then he also has another vault, the Risek Weng vault, which is also insane. It's a Tsukahara with 2 flips and a full twist. It's a mad vault, and he doesn't succeed it all the time, but somehow he stays alive. And if he can actually land those 2 vaults, then he can just easily get a first place, I think. If he can land both of those, there's nobody who's gonna top that. But again, vault is such an inconsistent piece of apparatus, which is why it's so hard to predict. But to be fair, I am gonna give it to Shin from South Korea. He's just been looking really consistent in training. I can see him just winning one more or getting a second place and having a higher average than Yonekura. So that is why my vote goes to Shin. We move on from vault to P-bars. And P-bars, the winner is pretty much already decided. So in first place on P-bars we have Polyashov. 90 points, 3 wins, super consistent, like he doesn't miss a single turn. And he does his signature straddle front into his dismounted double tuck half, and man, it's just so beautiful, so floaty, so easy. He sticks that double front half so many times, and it's especially impressive because it's like at the end of the routine, I cannot imagine even doing a straddle front in the end of the routine, just like catching it, dying, then doing a front upright and actually doing the best dismount ever. I don't know how he does it, but he does it, and it's beautiful, and I love it. And every time that he does it, I actually look forward to seeing it because it's orgasmic. And in second place we have is Yu from China. Again, doesn't get to defend his spot, doesn't get to try to challenge Polyashov anymore, unfortunately. So Polyashov is very likely just gonna take it. I don't see anybody beating him. On to high bar. Man. This could have been the biggest battle of all time in gymnastics. Miyachi and Epke were pretty much going head to head for the entire World Cup series. And it got especially interesting once both of them didn't qualify through the World Championships, which meant that only one of them could actually get the individual apparatus ticket from the World Cup. So Epke and Miyachi were battling it out. Cottbus was won by Miyachi, so he had 3 wins there. Epke at that point only had 2 wins, but fortunately for him, he managed to win Melbourne. So currently they're both at 90 points, but Miyachi said on social media that he was not going to compete in Baku and Doha, which would automatically mean that nobody can beat Epke anymore, which would mean that Epke has won? I mean, we still have to see what happens in Baku when we get there, if Miyachi is there or not. But do not be sad, Japan will probably at least get a continental spot, which is a spot on the country again, which is very important because then they can actually still send Miyachi to the Olympic Games because it is a spot on the country. And you can give that to any athlete that you want. So I really hope that Japan is gonna go that route and actually still try to send Miyachi to the Olympic Games. Because I'm not ready to jump off the Epke Miyachi hype train. That's not gonna happen. I want one more battle where they are both just on their best and just them battling it out on the high bar. No offense to any other gymnasts on high bar. Epke Zonderland versus Miyachi, that's the battle of the century, and we are here to watch it. And I want to see that happen in Tokyo. That's pretty much it, isn't it? I hope this is gonna turn out good, man. Like, I planned so much for this video, and I did a whole bunch of writing, which I didn't even like look at right now. And I just did a whole bunch of research, which I actually did use right now. So I hope this video is gonna be good. If you liked it, then please give it a thumbs up. Just give it a thumbs up in general. Even if you think it sucked, just give it a thumbs up and make me feel good, okay? I'm kind of getting tired of just talking about myself the entire time. And I just want to let you guys know what's going on with like the elite scene in gymnastics, the world, like the international elite scene in gymnastics, especially for men. Because it's not talked about enough. So I'm here to do that, and you are here to watch it. Strap in, because we're going for a ride. Peace.